Uncle Mark.
Yeah. Yep.
You know, it's kind of a truism in the film industry that sequels are never as good as the original.
Well, is that a truism?
You've got your Empire Strikes Backs. You've got your Blades 2.
Yeah, I was going to say, anyone who says that has never seen Ernest Goes to Camp.
Nor have they seen Staying Alive, which was the amazing sequel to Saturday Night Fever.
Yeah.
Is that true?
Yeah.
I don't know why I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, well, moving on.
Yeah, well, just because I'm a Travolta fanatic. I mean, you guys know that. But so are you, Doug, because you went to see Battlefield Earth on opening day.
I was the one.
Yeah.
That was you.
That was a lonely theater.
I was so excited and very stoned, and we got there early to make sure we could get in, and we were the only two people in the theater.
You got there early.
I was convinced this was going to be a big fucking deal, all right? I thought it was going to be a big deal.
The box office take for that weekend was $16.50.
It's my meager dollars.
It's amazing. I love that. I actually love that movie. It's so fucking terrible. It's incredible.
Speaking of sequels,
yes.
Uncle Dan has a sequel for us today.
Aha! That's right,
Yeah.
because 2 weeks ago I did this the first part of the book of Daniel.
And today is Daniel Destroys Christmas.
That's right.
The amazing holiday sequel.
Daniel Part 2.
Yeah.
Revenge of Shadrach.
The re-Danieling.
Okay, so when we last left the book of Daniel, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego had just gotten out of a hot situation. Mm-hmm. And Nebuchadnezzar was so impressed by them that he said, quote, "Therefore I make a decree. Any people, nation, or language that speaks anything against the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego shall be torn limb from limb, and their houses laid in ruins, for there is no other God who is able to rescue this way."
You know, I just have a quick point.
Yeah.
Once you've been torn limb from limb, do you really care about your property anymore?
Oh, yeah. You definitely do.
Doesn't that just seem like insult to injury kind of needlessly?
You're like, tear off my arms, but leave my house. What are you doing?
Then we will kill your lawn.
You know that Mike Pence has that injunction in bill form that he keeps trying to slip into Donald Trump's inbox and get signed.
Yeah, exactly.
I just feel like, how long... I mean, okay, this is the Bible, right? Where everyone has instant amnesia at all times. But when the king of the biggest country in the universe says that, it feels like there's no need for the rest of the Bible. We're done. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that could be said without modification on every page of the Bible.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. It just keeps happening, and we'll just demonstrate that.
There's really no need for any of it, but yet here it is.
So yes, Uncle Nebuchadnezzar is super on board with the Hebrew God now.
Yeah.
Does he convert?
And we stop short of that.
Okay.
But definitely you're not allowed to say anything bad about this God.
Scene missing.
Yeah. And Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego are bound for fame and glory forever, right? JK, we don't even know them. We don't even know them by their Hebrew names anymore. If they were going to be famous, we'd know them as Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah. Don't at me about those pronunciations. We know that because the rest of the book we'll keep saying things like, "Then the king went to Belteshazzar, who was Daniel." So we know that Daniel gets to keep his Hebrew name, and they just have to keep clarifying. Anyway, now we get to the part of the book that I had never heard before, which is Nebuchadnezzar's second dream. It's a dumb dream, but the outcome is special.
Point of order, all dreams are dumb, but yes.
Well, and biblical dreams double that. Nebi dreamt that there was a tree that grew so tall it could be seen from everywhere on this great flat earth of ours, and it had a lot of branches and a lot of fruit and provided a lot of shade, blah, blah, blah. It's boring. But the upshot is that a voice comes and says, "Let the tree be cut down and a stump remain." And then it says, and I'm confused by this too, "Let him be wet with the dew of heaven." Who him? The tree? The stump? Which him are we talking about here?
And
there
sorry,
hasn't been a him in the dream yet.
What is the dew of heaven?
Fuck you. That's what it is.
Probably got a category.
You're probably
in Pornhub.
really close to that. Yeah, exactly.
I think it's rain, but whatever. It's heaven dew. Anyway, here's a quote. Let his portion. This is about that him that we don't know who he is. Mm-hmm. Let his portion be with the beasts in the grass of the earth. Let his mind be changed from a man's, and let a beast's mind be given to him, and let 7 periods of time pass over him.
So this is when Nebuchadnezzar went out into the fields and lived as a beast, right? Yeah, I mean, there was a period where he
thank
lived
you
like
for. I was telling the story, but you can go ahead and take over if you want to.
Should I just go from here?
Fight!
Just go ahead if you want to. I mean, I wrote a bunch of stuff out and stuff.
You guys have no idea how often we fight about the Bible. All right, Cody, fix all that.
So Daniel, whose name was Belteshazzar, is called in, and he repeats the whole dream. Thanks, Bible. And then interprets it, though he's nervous about it, and with good reason, because what he has to say is that what he has to say to the most powerful king in the world is this: you, powerful king, are the tree. You're so big, you're the king of everything, but God wants you to know that he's in charge, and you're the only king of everything. You're only the king of everything because he lets you be that. So he's going to make you leave all the people, and you're going to have to live in a field like an animal and eat grass and get rained on for 7 periods of time, however much that is. And then...
could a period of time be a second?
It could be.
So you've got to live in the grass for 7 seconds.
But it's not, because we know, because I'll tell you something later. Anyway, then you can come back and your kingdom will be waiting for you. Apparently this does not piss off the king so much that he has Daniel killed. That's a theme. And then a year passes... And so there you go. It literally happens. Nebuchadnezzar is walking on the roof of his palace, literally telling himself what an amazingly huge kingdom he had, and it was all because he himself was so big and awesome. And then God was like, "Ha ha, not so fast!" And boom. Here's a quote. He was driven from among men and ate grass like an ox, and his body was wet with the dew of heaven, till his hair grew as long as eagle's feathers, and his nails were like bird's claws.
Okay, scratch. What happened?
Yeah.
Like, he was king. Mighty king.
He's the king, and then somehow, and we don't have any explanation for this.
Oh, my God.
He was driven from among men and just was a cow for seven whatever.
He basically was caused to go insane is the idea, and then he lived like an animal out in the field.
Yeah.
So the kingdom just kind of carried on without him? Is that...
Guess so.
I mean, we're seeing this play out live in front of us now, right? At some point, you're just like, he's fucking insane.
Well, I mean, here's the thing.
The mail still has to get delivered, right?
We know who one of his right-hand men was, and that is this Hebrew dude, Daniel, which, let's just say that there are a few parts of this story that cause me to reflect on what Daniel might have been doing at any given moment of the story. Anyway, the kingdom's fine when he gets back. And here's a weird thing. Oh, and also I did want to mention, I feel like if there really was a God, this kind of humbling of despotic leaders would be a really great thing to introduce back into the repertoire. I'm just saying.
Right about now.
Right about now.
Yeah.
That would be awesome.
But Donald Trump would swallow his tongue if he had to eat grass. I mean,
great. Fantastic. I don't see a downside to any of this. Anyway.
He's out on the grass 3 times a week.
That's true. So he comes back, and they're just like, okay, welcome back, king.
That is correct, sir.
This is a strange country.
Yeah. And strangely, the book switches right in that moment from being written in third person omniscient to being suddenly written from Nebuchadnezzar's point of view. It's now first person, and he's
really?
like, and basically I guess it's so that we get him saying, "Whoo, boy, that Hebrew God, he's no joke. We all totally get on board with that guy. I mean, I know I am 100% in that dude's camp now, so yep. It's Yahweh or the highway for me. Now give me back my kingdom," which they did. and he proclaimed unto the whole kingdom that the Lord of God of Hebrews, oops, he's dead. It's literally, suddenly you turn the page and there's a new king. So
I've invested so much in Nebuchadnezzar.
Nope, we've learned nothing, and let's just keep going.
Okay,
so, all those lessons are gone, and now his son, Belshazzar, is now the king. Belshi is carousing with his buddies.
Yeah.
Totally drinking out of the gold cups that his dad stole from the temple when he sacked Jerusalem. Remember that? Ha-ha!
Oh, yeah.
The rare biblical callback. When suddenly, they're all carousing, and then a hand appears and writes some shit on a wall. Side note, I wanted to mention I watched an entire awful animated YouTube video of the story of Daniel.
Oh, God.
Oh, my God, it was so bad. I guess because I'm a masochist now, and I don't know what... but when this part came, I got excited because I wanted to see how they did the hand.
Yeah.
Because the Bible actually says something about, like, the fingers of a man's hand appear. Like, what appears is fingers, and not just a finger, but, like, fingers of a hand. Anyway, I think that's super creepy and fun. They just balked on it and just words just appeared on a wall.
Right.
I was
really?
like, you sons of bitches.
That's the thing about all of these Bible stories. This book is supposed to be inerrant and perfect.
Yeah.
And the most religious people take huge liberties when they put it onto film.
Oh, yeah.
Right, to make it work.
And what's hilarious is it's animation. You can do anything.
Right.
You can do anything you want.
Yes.
Although these animators clearly cannot do anything.
They cannot do
Anyway.
much. Okay, great.
So the fingers write some words that nobody knows and scares the bejesus out of the king. So he orders all the royal smarty pantses to figure out what the holy Banksy was trying to say.
And that's where the term the writing on the wall is on the wall comes from.
That's right. That's right. But they have no fucking clue. So whoever figures it out is going to get a whole slew of amazing cash and prizes, is what the king says. So suddenly the queen pipes up. Wait, there's a queen? What queen? Is that his wife? His mother? No name, obviously. Anyway.
Of course not. It's the Bible. Women don't get names.
Right. So up she pops, Cersei, I'll call her, and says, hey, your dad knew a guy who could interpret dreams and explain riddles and solve Rubik's Cubes and shit, so go get him. So they do. Now, apparently enough time has passed that nobody remembers this guy, that the last king had declared in charge of all the wise men and everything.
Right.
But anyway, they go and they get Daniel, and in his usual politic way, he said, hey, your dad was so powerful, but he got cocky, so God made him eat grass. You're a little shit, worse than he was. Also, you're drinking out of God's cups, and he hates that. So, here's the words, and here's what they are, and here's what they mean. The words are inky dinky stinky do. JK. They are Mene Mene Tekel Parson, which I'm pretty sure is Aramaic for inky dinky stinky do, but I'm not positive. And here's what they mean. Mene, which is the one word that's repeated. Frankly, if you're writing words on a wall as a code, you don't need to repeat any of them.
Yeah, but it's the same people who wrote the Bible, and all it does is repeat.
Right. So Mene says, God has numbered the days of your reign and brought it to an end. Now, considering the fact that this one was written twice, it feels like you could just stop there. Like, if that's part of the message, that's the whole message.
So that one word means all of that.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yes,
It's like aloha, right? It means so much. Or shalom.
Yeah. All I'm saying is, disembodied graffiti fingers, learn to build to a climax, please. Anyway, Tekel says you have been weighed on the scales and found wanting. And Perez, which, what the fuck ever happened to Parson? It literally changes in all of the of the translations that I looked at. It changes from one word to another. Why? Anyway, Perez says your kingdom is divided and given to the Medes or the Medes and the Persians. So, after hearing that his reign would be over and his kingdom split up and whatever, obviously, King Belshazzar, in his rage, killed Daniel.
Right.
Psych! Nope. He just gave him all those cool cash and prizes, and then as was promised, he died that night by murder, which is not at all discussed. So cool. It says he was slain. It doesn't say that he died, in his sleep or whatever. It just says he was slain. Does not mention by whom. Does not mention why. And then Darius, the Median, took over as king.
Yeah.
So, and this is where we get to the only story from Daniel that you likely learned as a kid.
Right.
Darius decided to put 3 guys in charge of the kingdom, one of whom was Daniel, which doesn't make anything about the last story suspicious at all. Right?
Right.
There's nothing. I mean, he tells the guy he's going to die. He's killed the next day, and then suddenly he's in charge. Nothing wrong there.
Right.
No. The math checks out.
Right, exactly. Daniel was definitely Darius's boy, and the other in-charge dudes were soups jealous, so they played a really, really, really good trick on him, which is that they got all the royal important people, your royal ambassadors, your prefects, your satraps, your advisors, governors, what have you, except Daniel, of course, because why would he need to be there, to go to the king and say, hey, sign a decree that anybody that prays or asks a favor of any god or any person who isn't you will get thrown into the lion's den. So to this, the king apparently agreed? Why the fuck would you want people praying to you? Like, this sounds terrible, but whatever.
You know that Donald Trump signs that bill every day and
Right.
slips it into his outbox, hoping somehow it will just happen.
Right. Well, someone puts it on in front of him. He signs it, and then they tell him it's done.
Right.
Ooh. My computer. I don't know if our listeners will hear that. I don't know that'll make it through, but my computer just made a very lovely sound.
I didn't hear that, but I heard you. I heard something happened to you, and I enjoyed it.
Yeah. Okay. Great. I'm glad.
Yeah.
So anyway, as we learned from Shadrach and friends, this particular round of Hebrews is super loyal to their God. Not always the case in the Bible, but this group, they're down with it. And even though he knew about the new rule, our Daniel was caught praying. And really, why not? He knew what happened to his 3 buddies. God had helped him out in undeniable ways multiple times.
Right.
I'd be pretty unafraid too. Like, fuck it. If you've seen your friends be thrown into a fiery furnace that was set to 11, you're okay. You're gonna be fine. So
Yes.
he did it. The rest is unfortunately actually just kind of boring and stupid. It's the part that I used to love as a kid, but it's meaningless. Darius is sad that Daniel got tricked, but rules is rules.
Right.
So they throw him in with the lions. Next day, he's fine. Darius is happy that Daniel's okay, and chucks the bad guys into the lions.
Yeah.
Apparently, their God didn't save them.
Well, I love the idea too. The king's like, God, I wish there was something I could do here.
Yeah,
I'm, the law's the law. I'm just a king.
I signed it, so
Right.
I guess I'm just
So yeah,
bound by it.
Yep.
So there you go. Darius proclaims throughout the kingdom that everybody has to, quote, fear and reverence Daniel's badass God, which keeps fucking happening.
Right.
And nobody apparently pays any fucking attention. The last verse of Daniel chapter 6 says, so Daniel prospered during the reign of Darius and the reign of Cyrus the Persian. The end.
What is the fucking point of this book?
However,
Ta-da!
it is not actually the end of the book.
Oh,
I'm not going to do the rest of the book. Basically, chapters 7 and 8 go back in time to King Belshazzar's time again and fill in the gaps, which to me is just bad storytelling.
were there gaps?
Mess.
Apparently. And the lions were the only
Oh,
part
please
I ever
tell
really
me he
cared
had
about.
some more dreams. I'd love to hear about those.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? It seems inevitable.
Yeah.
So-
the Bible as dream journal. I love it.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, so he interprets the dreams. Nothing really comes of that. Shabadoo and Abigadeek and Adsmack don't burn.
Right.
Then they're gone.
Then they're never mentioned again.
He interprets the other dream. He wanders in the field, comes back, and dies.
Yeah.
New
Yeah.
king, Writing on the wall, dies.
New king.
New king, lion's den, over.
Yeah.
This is a great
Pretty much.
story.
So good. So
Yeah.
good, you guys. But he doesn't get eaten by lions, so that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
And there we have it. That is the beginning of Uncle Dan always feeling a connection to lions.
Really?
Yeah, I mean that, and the fact that I'm a Leo, and if I grow out my hair,
This can't be an accident, right?
I have a very leonine nose, so I
This
feel
is the
like
universe telling you something, Dan.
it's got to be right.
Yeah.
There's nothing
to get a lion's den.
Meow. Anyway, I will say this: it is shocking how many times my own fingers misspelled my damn name while I was writing notes on this thing. But other than that, that's where we're at. That's totes the story.
Well, what a pointless waste of time that was.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
What a gripping yarn, and what really critically important moral tales we can take from that.
Yeah, I feel like that's the nice thing is that we know we can.
So let's take a minute and list those.
Yeah,
and we're done.
and shit,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yep. No, we're done. That was it. So,
Okay.
all right. Well, great. Thanks for Daniel.
You're welcome, everybody. Let's move along.
Let's move on.
Go eat some grass.